Good afternoon, my friends. It's Simon Lown here from Two Way Digital, and today we'll be carrying on talking about the basics of SEO. Now, the reason that we're talking about getting your SEO set up for your website is so that ultimately you can get your content put on your website and ultimately be found by people. And if you've created good enough content with a clear call to action and have some good lead magnets, etc., you'll be able to get people into your business organically. So to that end, hi everybody. If you're watching this live, just give me a hi. I'll give you a shout out. If you're watching on the replay, please do feel free to give me a hashtag replay in the comments below. Please do like the video if you're in the group, on my page, on YouTube, wherever you might be. It helps other people see it and will also help them with their organic content and lead generating journey. So let's crack on with today's subject. So we're talking about indexing, errors and robots. Now, up to this point, in the last few videos, we've been talking about getting Google Analytics set up, the Facebook Pixel and your Webmaster tools. So now that we've got the Webmaster tools set up for your website, and hopefully you generated the sitemap and got that uploaded, it may have been quite quick, it may have taken a little bit longer, but hopefully your site is now indexed. So you're basically going to log into your console on Google Search and the Bing Webmaster tools, and just check the results of uploading your sitemap. Now, what they actually have is an overview of your website based on being crawled and looking at all the various elements of your website, and it will report back if there are any problems. Now, if there are problems, what you need to do is actually go and look up what those potential problems are and how to fix them. Now, sometimes there's help built in and you can just click links. Other times it might be a bit more involved of a search, because the problem that's causing the error might not be obvious. There can sometimes be more than one potential problem. But essentially what you're looking to do is clear any errors from the console, so Google Search Console or Bing Webmaster tools. You want to clear out any errors, because what that will mean is then that your site is ready for the next steps of the technical SEO. So once you start producing content, publishing it, formatting it, and doing all of your on-page, off-page SEO practices, that if the foundations are there and good, it means that you won't have any problems with getting any rank that you're due for that content. If you do have errors, if you've got crawl errors or page errors, software 04s, whatever they might be, you need to get those fixed, because that is basically going to show the search engines that your website is worth looking at. It's going to get some great content if you've not already got it on there, and it will then be worth them spending their time. They'll crawl it anyway, but then the less errors there are, the more likely you are to rank, as there's less things that will be marked against you. Now, like I say, the indexing time can be a while. I've seen sites get indexed in 10-15 minutes. I've also had to wait a day, maybe two at most, usually, to get a site indexed. And if you do find that for some reason that your site isn't getting indexed and you can't see the results, it can be done manually. There are ways that you can enter all of your URLs in manually, but that's a really long-winded process, and you don't really want to do that. You just want to get the crawlers to do their job. If it started taking a very long time, then it may be worth having a look and see if there are any general problems. But normally it will happen fairly quickly, within a day or two at most. So if you go to the link below this video, I'll put a link to the blog, and it gives you some graphical examples in the blog post of what to look for in terms of finding errors on GSC and the Bing Webmaster tools. So that covers the indexing and errors. So then we've got the robots. Now, the robot that I'm talking about is actually a little text file called a robots.txt. And it sits next to your sitemap in the root of your website. And is it something that you actually need for your website? Well, if your website's new, then strictly speaking, no. If you've not got much content, you don't have many pages on your site, and you don't have much in terms of functionality. So if you've not got lots of bells and whistles and bits that people can do on your website that are built into it, then you probably don't need a robots.txt. However, until the search engines actually explicitly say that actually we don't need you to have a robots.txt, we're going to advise that people do have them, because as their sites grow, as you get more content, there are going to be things that you can do with the robots.txt. So blocking off any pages with code on, or pages that don't need to be seen, that will never rank on the search engines. If your site is large and growing and has lots of content, or you know that it will get to that stage, there may come a time when you want to control what the bots do, and how they look at your site, and how they view it, and what they do and don't index. Because every time your site gets crawled, you essentially have a crawl budget. You have a limit of how much time it's going to spend and how many pages and posts that it's going to look at. And if you exceed that, then it may mean that you have new content on your site that doesn't get indexed. If it's not indexed, it can't rank. So obviously, like I say, there are manual ways of doing this, but that is obviously time consuming, and that's not something that you want to have to do every time you create a piece of content. So having a robots.txt is a good idea. It's at this point, like I say, unless you've got a big established site with lots of content, you're probably not going to do a great deal with it. But you can just create it and upload it, and you can have a look at your host support files, and just to see what they recommend you have in your robots.txt file. They may have some things that they can say you can just block out this stuff. So for instance, if you've got a WordPress site, there are a couple of bits that you can actually block off from being searched by search, because it's just not important. They're never going to need it. They don't need to see it. And you can stop the search engines actually crawling those pages. So if you do have a lot of valuable and interesting content, they'll move on to those a bit more quickly. The robots.txt file is something that it's a bit of a legacy at the moment, and it may be that they never are fully gotten rid of. But as AI is more and more coming into how the robots crawls your site, and what it does and how it interprets things, as time goes on, it's probably less likely that you'll ever need to have a robots.txt. But like I say, for bigger, more complex sites, it may well still be something that is useful. So once you've got that uploaded, you're essentially done with the basics of getting your SEO set up. So you'll have, like I say, you'll have your Google Analytics, you'll have a Facebook pixel, which, okay, yes, technically is not SEO, but if you've seen the video, you know why you still want it. You'll have the Google Search Console and the Bing Webmaster tool set up. You'll have your site index uploaded. You'll have your robots.txt there ready to go in future for if you need it. So now we can actually start moving on to some more in-depth technical parts for your website, and we'll look at the actual structure and foundations of your website. So these basics are just ways to monitor externally your website. And so as you go through and you start making changes with the technical SEO, then one of the things that you'll be doing is checking back with the Search Console and the Webmaster tools, just to make sure that nothing else goes wrong. Oh, is that Mark on there? I just saw. Hi Mark, good afternoon, how you doing? Good to have you with me as always. So yeah, hope you're enjoying the show. So like I say, once you've got all those basics set up, now any of the, we're going to start talking about some more of the technical SEO for your site going forward. And as you make those changes, what you'll do is you'll go back into Google Search Console, the Bing Webmaster tools, and you'll just check and make sure that it's not flagged up any errors as a result of those changes, which will obviously in the long run potentially affect your ability for the site to be searched, crawled, indexed, and therefore your ability to rank on the search engines. And clearly we don't want that. So that's it for today's lesson. Feel free to check out the blog post. As I say, I'll drop in a link below the videos, and you'll be able to see some of the graphics that just show you what you're looking for when you're looking for those errors. And then just do the usual either click on the error or do a quick search on Google to find out how to solve them. And as ever, if you've got any problems, if you get stuck, please feel free to join the property group. It's bit.ly/property group. It's capital P, capital G. Just join the group and just chuck a question in the comments in the group. Be more than happy to answer any questions that you've got if you have any major problems. So that's it for today. I'll see you next time. So until then, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Be well, take care. Bye-bye for now.